no matter the caliber of event, no matter the caliber of people you see at that event, at an event, there's always a scene where you see people fighting or quarreling or being impatient over food, even if it's something they can afford, even if they have their freezer properly stocked up, they will still fight and quarrel over food. Why? What is the reason why?
Okay, food, and from my opinion, food is not all about hunger. When people come for an event, they just believe, okay, we're going here after all the activities, we're supposed to be served food. So in a situation when they come there and the food is not forthcoming, that's where you see all those dramas. And some people, when they come for an event, they see themselves as people of prestige. They're not supposed to be running after food, and you serve their table with other people eating and they're not eating. You know, at times they are frustrated, feel like, this party jollof rice, but is it not coming? Is it not forthcoming again? No, at times it's from the part of the caterers. Maybe the service is slow. Sometimes you see some caterers, their service is slow, or again, how that can happen, you know, some events, some planners will even give you the schedule and say, serve these tables first, serve these tables first. And in a situation where you see yourself as a VIP and your table, they start serving the regulars, and you see that your tables, that everybody, some persons are eating, you are not eating, it can bring about frustration. You say, with my level, you know. So that at times it comes from all ends, maybe not the scheduling not properly done, or the people, even the guests not being patient. And again, there's something, you know, some fear of scarcity. The guests might be thinking, this food will soon finish, and my table have not been served.
True.
So is it not better I show aggression so that they will serve me first?
But I feel like if the reason why you came for that event, let's say the event is a wedding, if the reason why you came for that event is to honor the invitation of maybe a friend or an acquaintance, food should not be a problem.
No,
like, you are
food is part of it now. How can I come for an event and don't eat? Like me as a vendor, I've attended one event that I my table, I was not served. They serve other people in my table. I almost cried. You understand? So food is part of it. Like, how I was not served, like my eyes were red, my eyes was telling me, can you see what you people do to other people when they come and they are not served? It's not about being able to afford it or being hungry. It's about emotion. It's something like, I'm here, after this, at least I should eat.
Me, I've just made up my mind. If I'm going to an event that I am not planning or I'm not coordinating, I eat properly before I go, because I don't even feel comfortable.
You know that I do that too, but that party food is not the same thing.
But you know the funny thing is, all these people that are fighting for food, have you noticed after serving them, they don't finish their food?
But at least they have a feel of it.
So because it's okay. And another thing I feel always happens during weddings specifically is vendors' food. There was a time a vendor almost beat me up, all because he did not eat food, and I kept on telling him that the food that was provided for, or the food that the clients made provisions for, is for guests. And sometimes clients do not even help matters. You are trying to ensure, talk to clients to help and, you know, get vendors food. Let's have vendors food prepared separately. And most clients are working on a budget. You see that vendors food is not even included in whatever they are planning. And most times I really don't know how we could, you know, handle this whole thing of vendors eating at an event. Do you think it's important or it's necessary for us to provide food for vendors?
In my own opinion, I would say, this is to the event planner. I feel like every client should be aware that there are vendors working for that event, and you don't expect a vendor that will leave their house. Maybe you give us our schedule as early as, maybe you say some of them come as early as 6 a.m. and they are expected to remain at the venue, and you expect them not to eat. Okay, do you want them to collapse? If you are not allowing them to go out to eat, then you should make provision for them. And in a situation where there's no provision, I always advise my vendors, wait at the end of the event, when we're done serving the guests in which we're being paid for to cater for, then the remaining, not like crumbs, so we'll give them.
So what if there's no remnants? Because it's possible that you've never had a situation where you were paid to cater for 300 people and we had like 1,000 or 800 people in the hall. What would you do?
I will also advise vendors to be professional about this thing, because vendors have been paid for their service. So in situation where there's no food left, at least we can get an alternative.
Because I feel, to be honest, I feel for photographers, because when we are sending their timeline out to them, you see us sending the timeline as early as 5:30.
No, like photographers,
as early as 6 a.m.
I feel like
as early as 6 a.m.
They should be provided for, like their meal.
But in our own case, we are also looking at the client's budget. Not every budget can accommodate having separate provisions for vendors. So in situations, I just feel like if vendors there's something called a survival kit, your event survival kit. What do you do to prepare yourself for an event or prepare yourself for a job? Because you cannot be banking on the food that we're planning to serve guests and you're saying that's the food they are going to eat. After all, you are going to a wedding. There are some events that you go to and there's enough. When I mean like there's enough, there's enough food is going, everybody's eating everything. Do you understand?
Yeah.
But I also feel like there are some clients that will cringe when they see vendors eating at their events. There was an event I had, and the sister, Abi, a relative to the bride, reported us to the bride that the whole family has not eaten. And while she was talking, the lipstick she came with, her whole mouth was clean, which means there's evidence that you ate food.
Yes.
But why she had to go and complain, or what got the bride upset, was because she could see vendors eating, which is not even professional, in my own opinion.
No, but if you don't give them food and you expect them to stay and work for 6 hours, that means you are planning to see vendors collapsing or not delivering.
So it's our job to provide food for vendors.
I feel like
I don't know why you are nodding your head.
I feel like your clients should be well informed, that let them know that these vendors are humans. These vendors will come out early. These vendors need to be on ground, and so therefore food should be available for them.
So dear clients, the next time we are saying you see a budget and we are saying vendors food or feeding for vendors or vendors welfare, please don't come for us. It's not
some people even some event planners, they make separate provision, not even
like take out
same price as what they've paid for their guests, but at least even if it's snacks, something to keep them going. So
what would you say is the most outrageous thing you've ever seen happen at an event?
Okay, in my catering aspect, okay, let me speak on that. There's one event where we had some guests. They came in with nylon bags. Yes, it was under their table. So when you serve their table, they will turn it. When you serve their table, they will turn it. I think they were, in Abuja, we usually have these uninvited guests that come to events well dressed, like, so they came in their number, like on the same table. So when you serve them, they turn it under and they still call for food. And the waiter that was serving them, he said, I've served this table. And they said, no, we've not been served. And you can clearly see that they've not been served because there's nothing on the table. So there was drama. Somebody nearby had to now call our attention that check under their table. So we saw that the food that we were bringing, they were just turning it there. So I think that was the highlight for that.
Did you laugh or were you upset? Because I can't believe I'll be so upset.
Well, we just discovered they were not even the guests. They just came in. And
I think that's why people do strictly by invitation these days.
I think it works.
It works if families would listen and agree to stick to it. But then, so what advice would you give to your younger self who is just about, starting in the industry again?
Okay, I think the advice I would give to myself, like my younger self, is to value my worth. Like when starting a catering business, charge what you are worth. Because most times you see people saying, okay, let me charge low so that when
I think it's the same.
Once I finally come to limelight, I will now go higher. Most times in this catering industry, people just tag you to that price you've started.
True.
So if you know what you are worth, I feel like you you should
stay with
what you are worth. Charge fair prices from the beginning. Don't start small and say, okay, my food is 1,000, maybe in 1 year time I'll start charging 10,000. It will be difficult for people to accept that price because they already see you as a 1,000 naira vendor. So they just tag you to that place. So change at times, there's people resist change because they feel like this person that is charging 1,000 naira, I don't want to start charging 5k or 10k. So most times there's like a stigma there. So all our advice, like myself, like value yourself, like value your worth, charge fair prices. I will also say be grounded at what you do, be excellent, you understand, because if you charge your worth and you do rubbish, they will come for you. Hey, so that's another thing I think a lot of people coming into the industry needs to know, that it's not all about positioning yourself as a luxurious or as a big brand. You must know how to deliver what you've charged. Exactly. Not you charge and say because people are charging 100k per plate, you want to charge same amount, and then you are not serving your food. Charge what you are worth and deliver it excellently. It might be difficult from the beginning because people will be feeling, who is this new person just coming charging so high and all that. But when they eventually see that you deliver excellently, your service is exceptional, what you do is actually what you are worth, you definitely come to limelight. Thank you. What is the one thing you would say that the event industry is lacking? Okay, the event industry, I feel like it's booming already. Everything is going on well, but one thing I still feel like is a gap that needs to be identified or rectified has to be with the standardization. There's no standard way of doing things. Like this vendor is doing his own this way, this vendor is doing his own that way. Let it be like a standard procedure of doing things, and even professionalism. I feel like vendors need to invest more in themselves. It's not like you are a vendor, you don't even know the last time you've gone for update classes. I feel like vendors need to still go for update. Like you're baking cake of 1978, like you need to go and know what is happening. I feel like if vendors invest more on their self, it will go a long way to help the event industry grow better. Sure. If there's one thing you wish clients would stop doing, what would it be? Because I've had experiences where you see that, I don't know if it has ever happened to you, where there are situations where you really want to just give out your best to a job, to an event. You really want to give your best to this event, but there are certain things a client will just do and then is restricting or is limiting you. So based off your own experiences, what's that one thing you really wish clients to stop doing? Okay, in my own part, I will advise clients, please stop under budgeting, because caterers are not magicians. When you under budget, you understand. When you're telling me your guest size is 300 and you're bringing 700 people, there's little to what I can do. I can do small magic because I always come with extra food, but just be sure that not everybody can eat. So whenever you have an event coming up, I feel like you should budget properly, most especially for food, because food is the key. For people to talk about your event and say, this event is good, this event makes sense, this event is classic, is when there's enough food. So I feel like under budgeting is something that's to be honest, I feel like there's no matter the amount of food you provide at an event, there are still people that will say that they did not eat. No, but at least it will be minimal. It will not be so loud. It will not be so obvious. And because some cases are very, very more it will be obvious. But how do you handle overcrowded events? Like when your guests exceed your expected number, how do you handle it? When I come for an event that I've been employed to cater, what I do is immediately I come from the sitting arrangement. Yes, I will know that these people is like they're already modern. What I do most times, I call the attention of the person that have given me the job, maybe the event planner. I let them know that this your guests, they're already more than what we are expecting. So I give them highlight on what we can do to make sure everybody eats. So first of all, if they now give me the go ahead, what I do is like I remodel my procedures. I tell my people, okay, before now if in a situation we're supposed to serve 3 rice, tell them, okay, you can see that these people are already modern.
Oh, that's brilliant.
So can we do 2 scoops? Outside that, for the protein, we now go look at the ones that the proteins that are very big. We have pepper sauce. We can just
have you really done that?
Yes, I've done that. Like I had a situation where, like, one event I had, is it 2 months ago? I was paid to cater for 300 guests, and though we had 2 protein per guest, what we did is we actually eventually served 1 protein per guest. I already called for more plates. The event planner, okay, because when I spoke to her about she was even seeing the situation. There was no need of saying too much. We rented plates and the cutlery nearby, just near the
while the event was going on.
Yes, before we started serving. Even when they were pressuring that we should start serving, she said, hold on, let that plate arrive. So when the plate arrived, we were supposed to serve 2 protein. We eventually gave them 1 per guest. At least then those protein that were bigger, we had to cut some of them, and we reduced the portions of the food. We were able to serve not all the 1,000, but at least we were able to have this situation.
You see why it's good to use vendors that are interested in your job, because some vendors, once you've paid them, they will serve what they were paid for, and then they don't feel like. So I also think, like, as an event planner, I feel like it's important for every vendor, no matter the aspects that you are, no matter your specialty, I believe that it's important for everybody to know how to handle problems, how to handle, crisis. Anything can just happen. What is your go-to solution? What are you going to do? Are you just going to say, oh, this is what I was paid for? You do what you are paid for, and then you leave. Do you understand? So last question.
We've also had a situation where we had to even fry meat at the venue, because that venue,
I was even going to
that venue, we did small chops, so we had our gas there, we had pots, so we had to fry. I sent my husband, he bought meat from nearby market. We fried meat. So you've actually, because we had extra food,
fresh meal.
Yes, at the venue. We have also had situation where we turned semo, because we still had soup left and there were more people waiting to eat. No food. We had to turn semo. Lucky them again. I think it was just in one event center, that meeting point around Gudu area. I sent one of my waiter, they went to the market, bought some more, because we did amala at that venue too, a Wedu bakery. So it was easier the amala was on the spot. We still had the pot there. So we turned amala there, we did some more, and we're able to serve more guests, though the client paid, because he saw the confusion. He already saw it from the beginning. He saw that there was problem. He started begging. He was even shaking on the stage. So what am I going to do? So we saw it earlier and we tackled it.
So because I was going to come to that, do you think you can do this for any event at all, or this your solution that you provided is something that is peculiar to a type of client? Because how are you so sure that, what if the client had not paid back your money?
No, the client actually paid the money before we started that job, because I've had a situation where a client gave me the awards. The one that I told you, we fried protein and everything, he gave me the award, but they did not return in value as agreed. So when this one happened, they actually transferred my money before we did all that.
So in situations where the client is not responding, because some clients, they can be seeing that there's chaos and they really do not care. But because you want to protect your brand image, you see some vendors going all out, going extra, hoping that because the vendor is saying, because the client is saying what is going on, the client will understand. And when you submit your invoice, so what happens when you try your best?
I've had that situation.
So what did you do?
It didn't end well. So the ones I've just told you now, they're like the one we went to the market, I was paid to do that.
Jesus Christ. Like, I cannot imagine the stress. Why you be going through all of that? Somebody somewhere will still be insulting the caterer for not giving them food.
I know, that's why. Okay.
Somebody will still be angry with the caterer.
Now. because they don't know the background of everything, and you can't go around telling them they paid me for 200 girls, so and can you see that it's 400? We just still keep it professional. So and you absorb every insult.
What vendor do you enjoy working with the most?
Okay, the vendor I enjoy working with the most is actually the event planner and their coordinator.
Is a lie.
You don't believe
It's
it?
a lie.
No,
somebody
why?
that just said she cannot
No,
tell
no,
us.
no. I don't have
No,
any
you're
advice.
trying,
That's
you're
why
trying,
now.
you're just trying
No,
to make
no,
us
no, no,
feel
no.
good.
What the vendors, I actually enjoy working with event planners. Why? And I'll tell you my reason, because they make my life simple. They make it very structured. Okay, this is the time you're supposed to come for setup, and I already know it, so I'm able to plan properly. This is the time you're supposed to come with food. This is the time you're supposed to serve. So they make everything organized for me. So I feel like I love working with them because they make the events process less chaotic.
I don't believe you. You're just doing this.
No, that's the truth.
But it's okay.
No, they are my favorites.
It's okay. We'll take it. We'll take it from you.
Yes.
Okay, thank you so much for coming. It's just been really insightful, sharing your experiences. Thank you so much for coming on board. And we look forward to having you more. Look forward to having other vendors share their experiences, their thoughts, and their opinions about the events industry as a whole. And stay tuned for the next episode of Vendors Diaries.
Thanks for having me on board. Thank you. Ania event.
So what vendor would you want us to feature next? Drop it in the comment section.